Hello everyone, Silent here, and welcome back to another episode of Bug Rock of the Week. Today we're going to be covering a lot of different things, including new information about Minecraft Live, when it's happening, and what to expect from this year's Minecon event. Overall, it should be a really good one. There's been a few little teasers and hints and just little things throughout the Minecraft ethers hinting as to what we might see at this year's Minecon. So we'll also be talking about that, of course, and we're also going to be covering the most recent betas for the 1.16 Nether update on the Bedrock Edition. I haven't covered any of the betas in the last couple of months, and man, there's been probably about 100 awesome bug fixes, parity changes, mechanic updates and upgrades, and overall a lot of really nice and really exciting changes in the Bedrock Edition betas. So all throughout today's video is just going to be a bunch of little nuggets of interesting information that I think you'll really like, so stick around for a while. So real quickly, let's go over what we know for sure about Minecon Live. It has been announced for October 3rd, 2020, which is just under a month away. Really exciting times, and we know for sure that there's going to be a new mob vote. I'm guessing that this one's going to be for a passive mob. Last time, 2 years ago, we had a hostile mob vote, but you can expect there to be 3 to 4 different options, and I'll be covering that on the channel once we have more information, of course. And then some of the ideas that I have around what to expect from this year's Minecon is, of course, lots and lots of Minecraft Dungeons, DLC, levels, you name it. Their entire little announcement trailer just screams more Dungeons content, along with more Minecraft Earth content as well that was also featured in the trailer. So good times if you're fans of those games, of course. I would also expect us to have some news about the new Bedrock versions being developed for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. You know they're going to be making Bedrock Edition for those two new consoles, so we're probably going to hear something about that at this year's Minecon. If not, then hopefully they're still just putting in the development time that they definitely need for those platforms. We're also pretty likely to hear some more RTX ray tracing information about Bedrock Edition. NVIDIA just announced their new 30 series graphics cards, which are insane, and of course Mojang and NVIDIA work very closely together to bring RTX to Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Furthermore, there was recently some RTX betas, some new ones, and also the Render Dragon has had some upgrades in recent betas as well. So overall, I would expect more graphics, which is a good thing, more DLC and updates for Minecraft Dungeons and Minecraft Earth, and overall, many good things. And all that is without even touching on all the random conspiracy theories that we have surrounding 1.17. Some people think it's going to be the biome update, some think it's going to be the cave update. Nobody actually knows for sure, but one thing that we do know is that the mountain biome that we voted for at last year's Minecon should have some form of inclusion. Finally. Maybe we'll finally see that in the game. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see and just wait for October 3rd. So that's about all the information I got for you right now about Minecraft Live. So let's hop into the recent betas. Right now we're in the 1.16.100.54 beta, and this immediately brings me back to like the very early days of Bedrock Edition. I don't know what it is. Something about the lighting and something about the way that the camera moves and the general like movement and the general stutteriness. It just reminds me very much of the early days of Bedrock Edition, like when it was very first announced and released, like Better Together days. It's not a good feeling. Those were not good times. So first up, we have a lot of very fun things from the 1.16.100.51 beta to cover. The first one is dolphins will take way longer to dry out on land now and start taking damage. This guy has been sitting around for ages, and now they will take 2 minutes to actually start taking damage when they're outside of water. There you go. Finally, he takes damage. I swear, that's more than 2 minutes, but that's like still very good. Also, whenever you breed turtles and they lay an egg, there will be a new sound now. And next up, we have some very nice changes to how mending works. So nowadays, if you are wearing or holding a fully repaired mending item, that item is not going to prevent you from repairing a damaged item. So we can go ahead and summon in some experience. You'll see that all of the experience is going to go directly to the damaged tool that we're holding because all of our armor is already repaired. In previous updates, this armor would still be trying to grab experience. Of course, it was fully repaired, so that experience would instead go to your XP bar. I was fairly certain that was the intended mechanics of mending, since that's how it's always worked since, like, it was introduced years and years ago, but apparently this was seen as a bug on the Bedrock Edition, and now mending is actually way better, in my opinion. You no longer need to take off your armor every time you want to repair your tools. A couple small changes to Basalt as well. This stuff will now take slightly longer to mine, and it is now also resistant to gassed explosions. Furthermore, since we're talking about explosions, TNT will no longer be able to be lit by a redstone torch that is placed on top of it, which is a good thing. That's how redstone torches work. They don't power the block underneath them, so this change makes sense. A small interesting change has happened to XP orbs. These things will now actually float in water. As you can see, they're floating up and away, which is very interesting and kind of actually super beautiful. I really like that. Now you might be wondering why this matters at all. This is actually going to be useful for advanced trident killers and XP delivery systems. So now that XP floats in water, it should be a little bit easier to move around, although we will likely have to change our existing advanced trident killer designs. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like it floating in water way better. It was so boring before. Some pretty substantial changes have been made to villager trading now, and this has to do with the hero of the village and the villager curing effect, which gives these guys discounts. Supposedly, nowadays, the hero of the village and the villager curing now match that of Java Edition, which is a good thing. However, I think they might have messed it up a little bit because, as you can see, with the curing discount, this guy went from 36 emeralds for a bell to 64 emeralds for a bell. They're supposed to get a discount, not like rip you off even more. But then again, this is villagers, so what do you expect, right? Not really that surprised. So I just went ahead and cured this zombie villager, and as you can see, the prices aren't what they were in previous updates. So as you can see, quite a few of the things that did go down to 1 emerald, or just 1 item trade, so like 1 ink sac for an emerald, 1 emerald and a book for an enchantment book. So we can still buy things for 1 emerald. As you can see, Smite 5 single emerald trade, very nice. We can also give them a book for 1 emerald, and that's pretty decent too. However, some of the trades like 24 paper went down to 18 paper. So there's a couple little funky bits to be worked out. And as you can see, these other villagers on the sidelines haven't really gotten that much of a discount either. So it's certainly been massively nerfed compared to what it was in previous updates. However, it's still pretty alright and is very worth your time to cure some villagers. Any amount of discount you can get is gonna save you tons and tons of materials. So I just gave myself the hero of the village effect, as you can see on the sidebar, and this affects brand new villagers, of course, and it also stacks with the villager curing effect as well, meaning that we still have classic exploits like the 1 emerald per bookshelf and 1 book per emerald trade. And of course, if you can stack them together, that means that you can just get really good trade prices. A pretty interesting bug that I was not aware about is that pistons used to be able to extend past world limit. As you can see, we're up here at Y256, and they also used to be able to extend down into the void as well. So pretty interesting mechanic that has now been fixed. A really fun little feature has been added in this beta as well. So now if you name items such as minecarts or boats in an anvil, and then you place those down in the world, they're gonna show up a little name tag, which is awesome, and that's pretty cool. And something that's even better is if you break that, then it's also going to keep that name as well. As you can see, it just says sub. Now, I broke that instantly. I believe that's due to me having a very high level of strength. You shouldn't be able to break them normally. Anyway, just wanted to mention that real quick. So you can also do this with minecarts as well. We got sub and ribe. There's a C missing in there somewhere. So if we break this guy, you'll see that he also keeps his name as well. And of course, we can do this with TNT minecarts. We can do this with chest minecarts. We can do this with hopper minecarts even. And this works with all the fancy coloring and obfuscation that you can do with the lettering. A little bug with the obfuscation, the word that I cannot say, is it only like animates from certain angles. As you can see, like, it doesn't animate if we stand over here, but it does if we stand over here. Very strange. Anyway, we can go ahead and break these guys. Of course, this one's going to keep its name. This is going to split into 2 different items, but the actual minecart itself will still have the name. The chest, however, and the hopper will lose their names. Another pretty significant change has been made to the Bedrock Edition as well. Now, hostile mobs can spawn during the day as long as it is a thunderstorm, which is a really fun little feature. This is going to make the daytime a very hostile place. Of course, if it's the daytime, then you can't really skip the night. There's some zombies that spawned. I have like a command block set up to teleport them for reasons you don't need to know. But yeah, there's a skeleton over there. I saw a creeper. There's some spiders. So if you ever get a thunderstorm during the day, you're going to be having a lot of hostile mobs walking around, showing you who's boss, and it's going to be pretty awesome. I really like this feature change, and this is in parity with Java Edition. Oh, by the way, this is going to make charged creepers way more common. We have another questionable change in this beta, and that is the fact that if you summon a snow golem and then you shear its head off, it's going to drop a carved pumpkin. Now, as far as I'm aware, once again, this is like a feature old as time itself. These guys shouldn't drop their heads because now we can use that same pumpkin to summon yet another one of these guys. So we can literally just keep reusing this pumpkin over and over and over again for infinity. Of course, these guys are kind of useless, but at the same time, there was supposed to be some investment to actually get them, because now you can just farm up these snow blocks to make more snow blocks, and then you literally have an infinite source of mobs with literally no effort. I don't know, it's a change that's in the beta. Maybe it'll be reversed, maybe it's here to stay. I don't know. All I know is that it's extremely derpy. And next, we have a massive change to bee farming. Bees will now be able to leave their nests in the end and nether dimensions, allowing us to farm bees and honey and beeswax and all that stuff in all 3 dimensions. This is a feature that was sorely lacking from the bee update, whichever update number that was, and now it has finally been added to Bedrock Edition. So there you saw it, they will leave their beehives now. A very nice change has been made to the Ender Dragon egg. Whenever it's placed on the podium and you summon a new dragon, the egg will not get deleted, which is very nice. I know many dragon eggs have been lost to the dragon being resummoned without this thing being properly grabbed beforehand. And also, if these things are destroyed by an explosion, they will now drop 100% of the time. Also, just a little like thing I want to note while I'm here is the little beams that go and like regenerate the Ender Dragon. Those will now render all the time, even if the end crystal is not on screen, which actually makes it so that you can see where the beam is coming from. Why did it take so long to have this happen? Anyway, I'm very happy about it. You can see that beam all the time. It makes the dragon fight way funner, and it makes the resummoning sequence that much better as well. There's certainly some bugs to be fixed with the death animation, however, that looks a little bit weird. A small change has been made to hoppers. Whenever there's an inventory above a hopper, the hopper will not pick up any loose items. So for example, if we throw some items into this hopper stream right here, you'll see that this one will not pick up any of the items. However, if we remove the chest, then it picks up the items immediately. A new change has been added to ghast spawning. These guys will now officially spawn in any light level, including very high light level. As you should see, ghasts are very willing to spawn on this ultra bright platform. This allows ghast farms to be even simpler, as we can prevent other mob spawns using high light levels. And this also allows gas to once again spawn above lava oceans. This change is either very good or very bad, depending on your stance of Pegao-ghasts. We've also had some changes to blazes as well. Now, depending on their distance from the player, they'll switch attack modes. Previously, they would always just shoot fireballs at the player, which is their ranged attack. However, if you get close to them, they'll now do a melee attack, which I've never seen before. I was not aware that blazes had a melee attack, but they do. And it's about what you expect. They poke you with one of these blaze rods. It's kind of fun. I like it. I don't really know what to expect. This is subverting all of my expectations about blazes. There's a mention in the changelog about falling blocks now breaking after falling for an extended period of time. And yeah, look at that. They churn into entities. Very fascinating. Now, the bug report that's linked on the changelog is actually a private one, so we can't see why they implemented this. However, I'm assuming it's due to some very cheeky, glitchy, game-breaking nonsense. There's been a lot of weirdness with entities, especially falling entities in the past, so this appears to be a patch for all of that weirdness. I mean, I guess it's a rather direct patch. However, you can actually drop things from all the way to world height all the way down to bedrock without them breaking, like mid-flight. So you don't need to worry about that. You can still kill people by dropping anvils on them from world height. No need to worry about that. This is mostly going to affect things falling through cobwebs and being stuck in suspended animation. Upon further testing, the guys won't even make it through a single cobweb, which is kind of fascinating. So you should see that break here in a moment. Possibly, maybe not. Yeah, there it goes. So this video ended up being way longer than I expected it to. I was kind of hoping to cover like the last 4 betas in one video. However, now I realize that's a perfectly unreasonable goal. So you'll see a couple more episodes of Bug Rock in the future with the other betas being covered. There is honestly a lot of really cool additions, bug fixes, updates, and parody features coming to Bedrock Edition in these betas. I'm very, very excited to show them to you. However, no one's gonna watch an hour-long episode of Bug Rock, so we're gonna cut it here. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. Let me know your thoughts about all these different bug fixes, parody changes, and features down in the comment section. There is a lot of opinions to be had here, and some questionable at best decisions when it comes to a couple of these specific changes. But overall, I feel like all of this is a very good net positive for the Bedrock Edition, and I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, then of course be sure to leave a like. It helps out the video and the channel a ton. If you are new here, then make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and I'll see you guys down in the comment section and in the next one. Thank you again so much for watching, and then there was silence.